We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to a special video where I'm going to share my anime collection with you, my Anime Blu-ray and DVD collection. This is Logan, named after the great Wolverine. He's also a huge anime fan, and he asked me if he can make a guest appearance in this video. So I want to introduce you to the great Logan. Say hi to the people, Logan. Now, I'm not the biggest anime fan. I think 80% of anime is kind of corny and cheesy, but that remaining 20% has some of the best storytelling that I've ever witnessed. And I particularly lean on like the science fiction fantasy stuff. So that's primarily what I'm going to be sharing with you today, is a lot of science fiction fantasy anime. So I hope you enjoy my collection. It's not much, but I think that you will appreciate it. All right, Logan? Say bye to the people. Okay, so let's begin this. So first, I want to introduce you guys to my Ghost in the Shell collection. I'm a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell. I absolutely love Ghost in the Shell. It's probably my favorite anime series. If you could see right here, I got the first volume. Love that manga. Absolutely love it. And I really have to say that what really introduced me to anime, really kicked it off for me, was the first Ghost in the Shell film and Akira. So without further ado, let me show you my Ghost in the Shell collection. So first things first, we're going to start with some of the newer stuff. I got the Ghost in the Shell Arise collection. So this is probably the newer series. Not the newest, so they have a newer series that came out in Netflix, which is made with CGI, which I thought was absolutely dreadful. I absolutely hate it. I thought it was terrible. So this is the series that came out before it, called Ghost in the Shell Arise. And see, I take good care of my stuff, man. I keep it in the shrink wrap and all that stuff. So these are actually OVAs, which stand for Original Video Animations. So these were basically direct to Blu-ray movies. They weren't released in the theaters, and they weren't a television series. So they have 4 volumes, OVAs. This one has Ghost Pain and Ghost Whispers. So this is Ghost Pain, and this is really great. Some people didn't like this because it's kind of like a prequel reboot as far as what went down in Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. But I loved it. I really loved it. Now, I also love Ghost in the Shell standalone complex as well. Don't get me wrong. But I love this because the Major Kusanagi in this one, she resembles more of the film version from the original movie. Whereas the Motoko Kusanagi in Standalone Complex felt more like, I don't know, it felt more, I think maybe more like the manga, and she was more like kind of more using her sexuality and stuff, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with that. But this version of Motoko reminded me more of the Motoko in the movie. So I kind of approach this series as the prequels to the original movie. And I think if you look at it like that, if you approach it like that, you'll be fine and you'll be able to appreciate it. Absolutely love the storylines to this series. This is a great series. I can't recommend it. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. It's absolutely stunning, the animation. You know, the only thing that I really don't like about this series is the music. I thought the music sucked. I thought it was dreadful. I really did. So here is the second set, which has episodes 3 and 4, Ghost Tears and Ghost Stands Alone. Now, this series was actually re-released in Japan as a television series. So basically, these are 1-hour films. They chopped each film in half and released it episodic. So we have 4 films where they were able to make 8 episodes, and then they added 2 additional new episodes. I can't remember the name, but Pyro, it had something to do with Pyromania or something like that. And then they released that under Alternate Architecture. That was the name of the television series version of this set. Now, those extra 2 episodes, the Pyro, whatever, I can't remember, but it has something to do with Pyromania or some crap like that. You know, I mean, I really didn't find them necessary. They kind of recap the events of what went down with these 4 volumes. And, I mean, if you're a completionist, sure, you want to check that out. The only challenging thing is that it was never released in America. So if you really want to grab the alternate architecture version of Ghost in the Shell Arise, you have to order it from Japan to get those 2 extra episodes. But, you know, I mean, I love Ghost in the Shell, but I did not want to spend like $100 just to get 2 episodes that I felt were unnecessary. Maybe one day I'll grab it because I'm a completionist, but I'm not really in a rush right now for that. So that's it for the Ghost in the Shell Arise OVAs. Now, there was a Ghost in the Shell Arise movie, and this is it right here. This is a great movie. However, the name of the movie is absolutely fucking stupid. It's called Ghost in the Shell, the new movie. Well, when did this come out? This came out in I think this came out around 2012 or something like that. Whenever it came out a while ago. So it's no longer the new movie. But they decided to call it Ghost in the Shell, the new movie. Which I thought was such a terrible title. But nevertheless, this is the conclusion to the Ghost in the Shell Arise story. So if you want to see the conclusion, how they wrap it all up, you got to get this right here. Good movie. Really like it. The animation is gorgeous. The music is a little bit better in this than it was in the OVA. So check it out. I highly recommend it. Okay, so up next we have the original masterpiece, Ghost in the Shell, the original movie. This is the film, or one of the films, that got me into anime. I absolutely love this movie. This movie also helped me get into cyberpunk. This, along with Blade Runner, Terminator, and RoboCop. And it totally has that spirit, that late 80s, early 90s cyberpunk vibe. Absolutely love it. Think the storyline is brilliant, thought-provoking. Now, this is the DVD case and the DVD artwork. But inside I got the Blu-ray, the 25th anniversary Blu-ray. And this is also released in 4K as well. I may pick it up one day when it's on sale. But, you know, I'm happy with the Blu-ray release. And, you know, they came out with Ghost in the Shell 1.5, where basically the creators, they did a George Lucas, which means that they basically updated the special effects with CGI and stuff. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I much prefer the way it was initially created in its original form. And, you know, one of the reasons why I keep the DVD case is because of the artwork. I love the artwork on this better than the Blu-ray release. And also because you get nice little perks like inserts such as this that basically give you some world building material, some background on the world building of Ghost in the Shell. chapter stops. You know, they don't do things like this anymore for Blu-ray, which is a major bummer. I really miss DVD. How the DVD releases used to have a lot of perks, a lot of extra features and stuff. And I also have the Appleseed OVA, but I keep the insert for that in here. Again, you don't get stuff like this when you buy the Blu-ray release of Appleseed. So this is the original Appleseed OVA, which I want to show you in a minute. This is also created by the creator of Ghost in the Shell. So more cyberpunk for you cyberpunk fans. But yes, the original Ghost in the Shell is an absolute masterpiece. I can't recommend it enough. Like, if you want to see one of the anime that basically really helped kick off the genre as far as it being taken seriously as serious cinema, this is one of them. You have to check it out. All right, now, what do we got here? We have the absolutely brilliant television series Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. Now, this is season 1, and season 1 deals with the Laughing Man. So that's who the villain is, the Laughing Man. This is a great storyline, great animation, great character designs, great voice acting, and I absolutely love the soundtrack to the Standalone Complex series. It's beautiful. So this is season 1, and then here we have season 2, Standalone Complex Second Gigabyte. And here the villains are the individual 11. So that's what this series deals with. This is an absolutely brilliant season. Again, everything is outstanding. The animation, character designs, voice acting, storyline, lots of social commentary, lots of espionage, cyber warfare, lots of thought-provoking themes, and the music. Absolutely beautiful. Highly recommended. And, you know, in fact, I really recommend the Standalone Complex series over Ghost in the Shell Arise. So I highly recommend you watch this before you watch Arise. Even though Arise feels Motoko, it's a prequel, right? So it's a prequel, so it's about Motoko, the major. I'm talking about Arise. It's about her getting to become the major, gain her status, get the team together. Whereas this, the team is already together in this, right? They're kicking ass and taking names in this show. And then this right here is the Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex movie, Solid State Society. Again, just as good as the television series. So with this film, we wrap up the Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex series. I absolutely love this series, love this movie, thought-provoking, and this really touches upon the aging population in Japan and how there's not enough young individuals to take care of them because people aren't having babies anymore. And so they tie that theme in with espionage and cyber terrorism. So it's really thought-provoking stuff. Now, one thing about this series that critics say about it is that it can feel convoluted. And it does feel like that at times. It could feel like a lot of information being thrown at you. But just stick with it because it all weaves together superbly in the end. So just stick with it. There's times when I watch it and I feel like things are going in one ear and out the other. But it all makes sense. It all ties in together nicely at the end of each season and at the end of the movie. Sometimes it feels so convoluted that I have to read it with subtitles, and I prefer English dub so I can focus on the animation. But even with this, sometimes I have to read the subtitles because it's so much information. And you know, I really don't look at that as a criticism, a negative criticism. To me, it's just world building. It's massive world building and just so much detail in the world building for this series and this movie. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, you can look at it as convoluted, but I look at it as detailed world building. So check out Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. It's an absolutely extraordinary television show. I love it. Now, what else do we got? So we got... Now, this isn't anime per se, but it is inspired by the anime. This is the Ghost in the Shell live-action film starring Scarlett Johansson. Now, I feel like this film was poorly misjudged. It received an overwhelming amount of negative criticism. Why? Because Scarlett Johansson is white. So a lot of people were upset that she wasn't Japanese because they want the Major to be played by a Japanese woman. But if you pay attention to the storyline, she is a Japanese woman. She's just in the prosthetic body or whatever of that looks like a Caucasian woman. So what happened is Major Motoko Kusanagi basically suffered an accident and her body was completely destroyed, and they basically just put her brain inside this prosthetic body that looks like a Caucasian woman. So, I mean, people really jumped the gun on hating on this. Now, I won't say that this is as profound or as deep as the anime, but I really think it serves as a great introduction to Ghost in the Shell for somebody that has never watched anime. So maybe you want to introduce somebody to Ghost in the Shell, but they've never seen anime. We'll pop this movie in for them and see if they like it. I think they will, because I think that it captures the spirit of the anime in an excellent way without feeling too convoluted or feeling like it's throwing an excessive amount of information at you. It's easy to digest, in other words, and it's beautiful to look at. This is the 4K release. It looks gorgeous. Now, some live action adaptations of anime look ridiculous, especially with the costumes. They try too hard to look like the anime. But here, I think they did a good job because nothing feels like cosplay. And yeah, I thought it was a fine movie, and I think it was unnecessarily hated on. So check it out if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend it. And you know, the reason why Scarlett Johansson was casted was because if you know how producers think, they want to bank on star power. They want to get a big name. So people check it out. But unfortunately, it basically was the reason why people didn't check it out. I think a lot of fans didn't give it a chance because Scarlett Johansson isn't Japanese. And it's unfortunate that this film was a victim of politics and the woke mob, because I think it's a fine film. Check it out. All right, so up next we have one of my favorite, I don't know, this may be my favorite anime of all time. Now, I probably said that already about Ghost in the Shell, but I really think that this is neck and neck with it, and it's not very well known. But when I saw this, I absolutely loved it and was blown away by it. This is Angel Cop. And this is the Steelbook collection of the Blu-ray release. So this is basically like a mini-series or television series. There's not many episodes. There's 6 episodes. But man, this thing is cyberpunk ultra-violent madness right here. And I absolutely love this show. This show is badass and super controversial, and I love every minute of it. I highly recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. I thought this show was a blast. And the Steelbook release is absolutely gorgeous. The transfer is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love this show. I love this whole transparent protector, so you can protect your Steelbook. Also get the details on the back. Most of the time this is paper and people just toss it away, but here you could use it as a nice little protection for your Steelbook, so you keep it nice. Here you got your Blu-ray here. Like I said, excellent transfer. Angel Cop. Absolutely love this series. Super controversial. I mean, if you were just to look up on YouTube the most controversial animes of all time, this is going to pop up on some of those lists because of the violence and also because of some of the elements of the plot This film has been accused of being anti-Semitic, or this series rather, has been accused of being anti-Semitic. Now, that is for the Japanese version, which I haven't watched. What I watch is the English dubbed version. So the English dubbed version is absolutely insane, and it's not anti-Semitic at all. Instead, it's off the wall, like 1980s action, excessive foul language, humor. And that's why I love this show. I love this show for the action, the cyberpunk elements, and the humor, because basically the English dub is just hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like watching something. It's like watching RoboCop or something. Those 1980s action hero one-liners that they say before they blast somebody in half. That's what's going on here. So again, the English dub is not anti-Semitic whatsoever. But the big deal with this was that basically the villains were some worldwide Jewish conspiracy. But I don't know anything about that because, again, I've never seen the Japanese dub, even though it's included on here. Again, I like to listen to the English dub when I watch anime because I want to focus on the artwork. But the English version is just hilarious, and it deals with, dude, basically the cops in this series hate communists. And I love that. I mean, they're like literally blowing the brains out of these commie pieces of shit. So if you hate communism, watch this show because you're going to get a kick out of it. And I absolutely love this show. Love it for its ultra violence and the English dub track. Check it out, man. I mean, I don't take this thing serious at all. This thing is a blast. It's entertaining. It's fun. That's all. Now, up next, we have another amazing cyberpunk OVA. I showed you the insert with the Ghost in the Shell release. And this is Appleseed, also created by the creator of Ghost in the Shell. I absolutely love this OVA, straight-to-video film. It's really short. It's 1 hour, but it's really thought-provoking. And I absolutely love the themes, like what it means to be human. So basically, the protagonists in this show, they live in this artificial world where most of the people are like clones. They call them bioroids. And they're like programmed to always behave, not to be hateful, not to be jealous. And then in this film, there's some people that don't like that because they feel like it deprives oneself of what it means to be human. And it's really a lot of thought-provoking material in here. And again, with the English dub, this has the same actors or director of the English dub for Angel Cop. So what does that mean? That means more over-the-top 1980s action hero one-liners and excessive foul language. I absolutely love it. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's crazy how people like hate on these two releases because of the English dub being like that. Like, to me, that's the point. That's what makes it entertaining. That's what makes it fun. These cheesy one-liners with excessive foul language before somebody gets their brains blown out. I absolutely love it. And this Blu-ray release, the transfer is gorgeous. Check it out. I highly recommend it. And look, this was really nice of them. You don't see Blu-ray releases like that where you get a nice slipcover, beautiful artwork on there, and then separate artwork on the inside. In fact, I think it's interchangeable. Oh no, well, what do you look? I forgot I got this in here. So they have numerous numerous Appleseed films that have come out. Now, I don't like them all, but this one right here, Ex Machina, this one's like a CGI animation. I'm not a big fan of CGI animation, but this one was really good. And this was actually directed by John Woo, the Hong Kong action director who made Hard Boiled, The Killer, and A Better Tomorrow. So he directed Ex Machina, Appleseed. Highly recommend that. They also came out with another CGI Appleseed movie simply called Appleseed that came out before Ex Machina. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of that one. And then they also came out with another one called Appleseed Alpha. That one was decent. That was like a prequel to all the events in these movies. And then they also had a television series. I think it was called Appleseed 13. I'm not a fan of that one. They made my homegirl Newt kind of like a whiny little girl in that, and I hated it. But here in this, Newt is a complete badass in this, and I absolutely love the Newt character. Highly recommend it. Check out Appleseed. Up next, we have the masterpiece, probably considered one of the greatest anime of all time, Akira, on Blu-ray. I absolutely love this film. This movie and Ghost in the Shell are what got me into anime, what got me into taking this genre seriously. I honestly believe, as far as anime goes, as far as actual animation, this is the greatest anime ever made. I've never seen another anime so detailed, the cell animation. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. The level of detail that goes into the scenery is unprecedented. This thing is mind-blowing. I absolutely love this. A true cyberpunk masterpiece. If you haven't checked out Akira, you owe it to yourself to check this out. The Blu-ray release, the transfer is absolutely gorgeous. Such a great movie. Even though I got mixed feelings about that ending. This movie is a blast. It's a complete thrill ride, but that ending, oh man. I've never been a huge fan of the ending, but it's still a great film nevertheless. And if you haven't checked it out, why? Why haven't you seen Akira? You owe it to yourself to see this movie immediately. Stop watching this video and go rent this, buy it, whatever. You need to watch Akira. Probably the greatest anime ever made. Please check it out. Alright, let's see what else we got over here. Oh, wow. Probably one of the greatest anime television shows of all time. Cowboy Bebop. Now, please don't get this confused with that worthless piece of shit Netflix live-action adaptation. That shit was an abomination. This is the original anime right here. And this is the television series. I absolutely love this show. The Blu-ray transfer is absolutely gorgeous. The music to this show is phenomenal. If you love jazz, you really owe it to yourself to check this show out. Such a great cyberpunk, science fiction, thrill ride. I mean, what's great about Cowboy Bebop is that it's fun. That's it. If I had to pick probably one of the funnest shows of all time, it would be Cowboy Bebop. This show is just pure fun. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not super deep. It's not super heavy. It is just a great, fun show with excellent animation, excellent characters. I absolutely love this. Too bad that Netflix series was complete trash, but it's not surprising. The Netflix series for Ghost in the Shell, also awful. That thing was complete trash. Now here we have the Cowboy Bebop movie, which was a little bit more thought-provoking than the television show, but still a lot of fun. Excellent film. Highly recommend it. Check it out. The animation's beautiful. It's a great companion piece to the show. So if you haven't checked out Cowboy Bebop, you owe it to yourself to check this show out. It is a great series. Now, up next, we have another television show that really blew my mind away as far as storytelling goes. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now, this to me is probably one of the most thought-provoking science fiction properties I've ever encountered. Like, this is right up there with, like, 2001 Space Odyssey or, like, in Interstellar by Christopher Nolan. I've never seen anything like this. And this is an excellent box set. So this set right here is the Blu-ray set for the original television series. And not only does it have the original television series, but it also has the 2 movies that ended the show. So it has End of Evangelion and Evangelion Death and Rebirth. Now, in addition to that, it also has the director's cuts of the last 4 episodes, which you gotta watch, right? So this is basically Neon Genesis Evangelion in its full, unedited glory, and basically its entirety. Because back in the day when you had DVD, you had to hunt down the director's cuts for the last 4 episodes. Then you had to hunt down and get the End of Evangelion separately. And when you got it, it was in letterbox format. And it looked like shit. The transfer was just awful. So this set is worth buying simply for the transfer of End of Evangelion. Outstanding show. Never seen anything like it. And probably never will ever again. Now, they did come out with a remake. Evangelion, the movies and stuff. And, you know, they were okay. But you can tell that they were trying to recreate this property to make it more accessible to general audiences. And it simply wasn't the same. Like, basically what they did is they came out with the first movie. I think that was called The Rebuild of Evangelion 1.11. They have stupid names too. Like, I'm not big on the names. They like You Cannot Advance and things like that. But like the first movie was basically a retelling of like the first half of the TV show. And I hate it when they do that. Because it's like, to me, it's like, what's the point? I could just watch the TV show. Like, give me something new. Then 2.22, it's when the TV show started. It's basically, it starts out similarly to the TV show, but then halfway into the movie, it takes a completely different turn. And that one was better. And then they came out with 3.33, which was, now we're in absolutely different territory than this television show and these movies. And it was interesting, but nothing beats the original, man. This thing blew my mind. It's so thought-provoking. It has great characters. Memorable scenes. This thing really just blows my mind away. It's visually stunning. So original. I absolutely love this. Like, if the world ever ends like they say it will in the book of Revelations, I really think it will look like this. Seriously. This was great. Absolutely love this show. I hold it dear to my heart. Now, next we have another anime that was a huge influence on me and me getting into anime. And this is Ninja Scroll. The animation to this blew my mind away. This right here is just ultra violent mindfuck right here. I absolutely love this movie. They also had a television show which was okay, but the movie is outstanding, and I highly recommend this set. They also have a Blu-ray, but god damn, they're asking for like $100 for the Blu-ray. And, you know, I can't afford that. I could buy like 10 movies off eBay for that. So, until they come out with a more wide release for the Blu-ray at a more affordable price, I don't think I'm going to be getting this. But I recommend this version, the 10th Anniversary Special Edition, because this includes the widescreen version and the full screen version as well. So you could take your pick if you want to watch it in widescreen or if you want to watch it in full screen. So I highly recommend this version of the DVD release. And it also has a decent amount of bonus features. Great anime. Total mindfuck. Absolutely stunning. Another one I recommend, I don't have it on me right now, but it's by the same creators, is Vampire Hunter D. Great. Now, the maker of this anime also created this, which I absolutely love this series, Highlander. Now, don't even get me started on Highlander the movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. Now, if you love the movie to Highlander, you owe it to yourself to check out this animated film, Highlander: The Search for Vengeance, made by the creators who made Ninja Scroll and Vampire Hunter D. It is outstanding. Now, a lot of fans of Highlander, the original movie, say that all the sequels suck. And they say there can only be one, which is a famous line from the original film, and it's the motto of the entire series. But when they say that, they're applying it to the series itself, basically saying only one movie in the entire series is good. I strongly disagree with that sentiment. Why? Because this exists. If you think that Highlander 1 is the only good film in the series, you're wrong. You haven't seen this. Watch this. I will give it to you. The sequels, the live action sequels to the original Highlander, they're not as good as the original movie. Not by far. But this right here, this will make you proud. If you hated the sequels to the original Highlander, check out this anime made by the individuals and the same studio, I believe, that, if not the same director, I think it's the same studio as well, that made Vampire Hunter D and Ninja Scroll. Excellent. It will make you proud. Please check it out. You won't be sorry. Alright, now up next we have another series that is absolutely dear to my heart. If I have to vote on probably the most heartfelt anime ever created, it's got to be Full Metal Alchemist, the original show. This show is so dear to my heart. I absolutely love this show, the original Full Metal Alchemist series. This is the Blu-ray collection. This along with Neon Genesis Evangelion, as far as storytelling, blows my mind away. I absolutely love the themes of science versus religion in this show and how they connect basically the fictional world of Full Metal Alchemist with our world, the world of the audience watching the show. It really blew away my mind, that little plot twist. I absolutely love this show. Love this set. The transfers are gorgeous. The animation is gorgeous. And the storytelling is just beautiful. Absolutely love this show. This thing is just unprecedented as far as its storytelling. And this right here is the conclusion to the show. This is Full Metal Alchemist, The Conqueror of Shambhala. I thought it was a great ending. Some people have mixed feelings towards the ending. I absolutely love the ending to this show. You can't end the show without Ed and Al being separated. They gotta reunite. Come on, man. How can you not like The Conqueror of Shambhala? Absolutely love this. You got nice little perks in here. You got previews to the manga, which is great. You got some world building. I mean, there's a whole book in here, man, about the world building, about the making of the movie. This is great stuff. They don't do stuff like this anymore for Blu-ray. Unless you check out Arrow or Criterion Collection or Shout or Screen Factory. And man, they charge you fat to get those collections. But they're the only ones to do it now. Yeah, so check out Full Metal Alchemist. And one thing about the original show is that the original show started out like the manga started out, but the show was being produced concurrently as the manga was being released. So eventually, it bypassed the writing of the manga, and it had to go its own creative way. Meaning that the manga wasn't finished, so they had to make up their own stuff. And you know what? This may be blasphemous to some Full Metal Alchemist fans, but I think this show is better than the manga and better than Brotherhood, which I absolutely love. Don't get me wrong. This is an A+, and Brotherhood is an A+ too. But I think this was better as far as how it just blew my mind away with the creative decisions and that epic twist that connected the world of the anime to our world. That blew me away back in the day, and it still does. And I thought that was such an epic twist, and that's why I think this is just slightly better. But one thing that without a doubt is infinitely better about this show than Brotherhood is the music. This show has some of the greatest music ever made, period. I'm talking John Williams, Star Wars, John Williams, Indiana Jones, James Horner, Lord of the Rings, Hans Zimmer, you name it. This show has music that is good like that. It's iconic, man. The music to this show is underrated. The music to this show should be in every single person's iPhone playlist, period. It's outstanding, the music to this show. The music to this show is so damn good, it has no business being that good, man. Some of the greatest symphonic or whatever classical music ever made. And Brotherhood just cannot compare, man. Now, Brotherhood is an outstanding show. Don't get me wrong. Brotherhood feels massive as far as the world building goes. Like basically Full Metal Alchemist, the original show, it feels smaller. This show is like 3 times as long. We go to different continents. We go all over the place in this show. It's massive, this show. And this show also has some thought-provoking stuff too. It deals with the elements of science versus religion. And yeah, just the crazy notion of how the villain wants to basically envelop God and devour God, and all this stuff is just nuts. This show it's good. It's outstanding. It's an A+. Even though I said I prefer the original show more, but I think that has more to do with my emotional attachment to it and the music. But don't get me wrong, Brotherhood is also an outstanding show. Otherwise, I wouldn't own the thing. I just got this recently. I haven't even opened part 2 of this set. But yeah, great show. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend both shows. Full Metal Alchemist, the original show, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, they also have a movie called The Star of Milo or some crap like that. That shit sucked. I can't recommend that one. So stay away from The Star of Milo, whatever the hell it's called, and just stick to the original show and The Conqueror of Shambhala and Brotherhood. You won't regret it. I guarantee it, man. Epic storytelling, without a doubt. Next, we have another controversial anime. Well, the anime is not that controversial, but the manga definitely is. But this right here, this anime, Berserk, this anime has to be the greatest anime of all time as far as character development, in my opinion. The way this series, this is the television series, and this set just came out. I think it came out like 6 months ago. This Blu-ray transfer, this more affordable version, and the Blu-ray transfer is just gorgeous. So this show right here has some of the greatest character development of all time. It really does. I absolutely love this show. For the characters, I have a huge emotional attachment to Guts, Griffin, and Casca. And the way this show ended was so controversial. So this show literally ends with one of the main characters being abused. And it just ends like that. And I was like, what the hell? And I remember being so pissed off and so upset that they could end the show like that, because it ended with nothing resolved on an epic cliffhanger. And I think the reason why they did that was because they ran out of budget, but also to kind of get you into reading the manga. And you know what? I tried reading the manga, but I'm sorry, man. I just can't read that. It's too perverted for me, man. It's too depraved. I like the show because it's easier to digest. It's more accessible. Whereas the manga, I mean, it's very gratuitous, in my opinion, as far as like some of the abuse and stuff. And I can't be caught dead with that stuff, man. I mean, this right here, though, did an excellent job. I like this better than the manga. I really do. The original television series. Now, they basically remade. So I waited years for the creators to continue the show, to continue the storyline, rather. And then what did they do? They remake the show into movies. A huge waste of my fucking time, man. So how are you going to remake a 28, 25 episode show into 3 movies? You're going to have to cut stuff out. So at the end of the day, I would never watch those movies. I'd rather watch the show because I'm getting the whole story in its entirety. Even though there's some things in the movies that they include that wasn't in the shows, but it just cannot compare to the original television series. And I felt like remaking the show into movies was a waste of time and money. Now next we have another controversial thing, and this is the continuation. So you know how long I waited for this? I feel like I waited a lifetime to see the continuation of this storyline finally brought to the screen. And finally we get it. And a lot of people hate this show because of the animation. They hate it. Now, I get it. Like, I prefer original 2D animation myself as well. But, you know, when I watch this thing, it's a total mindfuck. Especially the music and the soundtrack. It's hella creepy. Like, watch this with the lights turned off at like midnight. And it is creepy. And it sucks you in. Now, I think I don't think the animation is too bad. Sure, I prefer 2D animation to this. I mean, this is like trying to be like a mix of like 3D and 2D, and it's kind of jarring in its camera work, but I think it works for the show. It's kind of trippy. And another thing is the music, like I said. Now, one thing though that I gotta say is sometimes the animation, the characters can feel almost like their eyes and the way they move. They kind of feel like hot air balloons. Yeah, so yeah, I can definitely see where some of the criticism goes, but come on, man. I waited so long for them to continue this storyline that I gotta recommend it. I really don't think it's that bad. It's slightly disappointed as far as the animation. However, it's continuing the storyline, and I waited so long to continue that storyline. And if you like this, if you say you check this out and you love this, go ahead and dive right in. But this is much darker than this. So this feels more like Game of Thrones, right? If I had to call this would be the Game of Thrones of anime. But this right here, this feels like, oh man, I don't even know what to compare this to, man. This feels like Army of Darkness, Evil Dead meets Game of Thrones. Like, it's super demonic. I mean, dude is basically a demon slayer in this. And that's why this is the Golden Age arc. And this right here is an entirely different arc, an entirely different ball game. I recommend it. Check it out. A lot of people hate it, but I think it's kind of excessive, the hatred. I'll tell you this, you'll check it out and you'll be entertained. You won't regret it as far as that goes. So check this out. So that concludes my anime collection. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share. I would really love to make more videos like this where I share my collections with you. I got so much more stuff to share with you. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Take care, and last but not least, one love, people.
do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.